And I'm watching, obviously, Trae Young put on a freaking show last night. Although I was in a commercial break during the halftime, and Dan Craig gets interviewed by, I forgot which, was it, I think Jax that interviews him at halftime. And, they're asking, and Jax goes, well, Trae Young killing you, with a lot of free throws, getting into the paint. He has 10 free throws already in the first half. What do you got to do? And he goes, well, there's some things we can do to maybe limit that and eliminate half of that if he tries it again in this half. And within the first minute, he hits a three-pointer that becomes a 4-point play because they fouled him. And you guys saw it. Those of you that care, you saw it last night. Trae Young goes 8 of 15 from three-point range, 50 points last night for Trae Young. I mean, he was all over it. And look, the real issue here with the Miami Heat is that maybe, probably, the reality is that they peaked in November and December after 24-8. Okay? Now, here's where some of you, look, man, go listen to Intercom and go listen to 560 and 790. They don't have to, they can't question too much because, of course, their bosses will get pissed. But we don't do that here. We don't have to play the politics. Not that I've ever played politics whenever I did work there or anything. So listen, bottom line is, if you're going to enjoy the 24-8 and be impressed with that and think that they're great and that they're a top 2, top 3 seed, they're 11-12 since 24-8. Okay? I'm not great at math. He is. I'm not. Once there was letters involved, I wanted no part of math. But I can add and subtract. That's 23 games of mediocre play. Okay? And please don't tell me that they got new guys and they're trying to get acclimated. Some guy yesterday goes to me, well, they're missing Tyler Hero. And I'm like, dude, if you need Tyler Hero to beat the Atlanta Hawks, then let's just wrap up the season. Okay? It's over. Let's call it a wrap. I mean, look, in the end, they're kind of becoming what I thought they would be. A 7-8 seed, a first-round exit. Maybe they don't fall all the way far down to 7 or 8 because they won so many early on and they put themselves in this position. Kind of like, remember when the Panthers got that one season a couple years ago when they got to the playoffs and they had the 12-game winning streak? That's what they lived on. That was the difference in their entire season. And for the Heat, 24-8 was fine at the beginning, but now you're 11-12 in your last 23. So if you're 11-12 in your last 23, then it shows how mediocre you are. And during those 23 games, you've had healthy lineups. You have had guys out. Look, at the beginning of the year, they were beating people without Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? So excuses are for losers. All right? The Heat is going to have a good season. That's all. But let's be honest now. They are not going to have the kind of season that we were thinking early on at 24-8 when I was sitting there going, wow, they're a lot better than I thought they were. Actually, they're not. Actually, they're maybe slightly better than I thought they were. That instead of a 7 or 8 seed, they'll probably end up at 5 or 6. That's probably what's going to end up because while other teams have gotten better and have found their groove, the Miami Heat has regressed. And they're adding talent. And it's funny because, what was it, yesterday there was a soundbite floating around from Pat Riley talking about how, I saw it here on Ira Winderman's column, and Pat Riley, and it's humorous to, but this is the way you've got to think inside that building. But Pat Riley basically came out to say, well, people don't think we can win a title. Hell no, you can't win a title. Come on, Pat. Give me a break. I get it. You want to play the underdog card, and you want to try to motivate your players. You see what they're thinking about you. They think you're not that good. Well, we don't have to think it. We're watching it. Okay? We don't have to think it, Pat. The team is displaying it. They're 11-12 in their last 23. But don't worry. It's kind of like the Panthers. They play the Cavs in the next 2 games. So they can beat the Cavs, and then all of a sudden you can feel good about yourself a little bit better and say, no, you see, they're back on track. No, they're not back on track. They're just playing terrible teams. That's kind of like the Panthers. You already know what the Panthers are. But you know that during the schedule, there's a couple of mediocre teams, and they've done a decent job of beating some of these mediocre teams. You know, and coming out, you know, the last couple games they were winning, and then now they lost again last night. They've got, obviously, Vegas coming up. We'll see how they do. But it's kind of like what it is. Even when a couple of weeks ago when the Cats were on a nice little roll and they were winning some games, if you really looked at that stretch, there were a lot of bad teams they were beating. So it wasn't that they were turning some corner or anything like that. We got to see things for what they are, okay? And it's been a terrific Heat season. Bam Adebayo has developed into an all-star, okay? Tyler Hero has proven to be well worth the first-round pick. Duncan Robinson is showing you that he can be one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, right? I mean, there's a lot of little positives that are going on with the team. But in the end, you know, Jimmy Butler is not a number one. So he has done an awesome job, and I love what Jimmy's done because it's been so intelligent the way he has gone about this in raising the level of play of everybody else. And he didn't come in with the attitude of, well, I got to score 35 points a night in order for this team to be better, because it would not. They would be worse right now if Jimmy became the hog and became the guy that's got to take all the shots. But to his credit, he has been the smart guy in getting everybody else involved. But if you like yesterday, he's 6 of 18. Yeah, he scored 17 points, but it's on 18 shots. That's not impressive. You understand that, right? Now, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, a block. There you go. That's kind of where he balances it out. But he's not the guy that you want as a volume shooter. You got to remember, Jimmy Butler is an all-star, not a superstar, not a number one player, none of that stuff. He's your number one player here because this is our team and he's the veteran on it. But he's not the guy that can carry a team. It's not who he is. And to his credit, he hasn't acted like that. He hasn't played like that. He hasn't thought about that. He has actually attacked it the perfect way. But having said all that, we're now finding out what this team is. You know, they're going to have a nice season. It's going to be a solid season. You're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win somewhere in the neighborhood of 45, 47 games, something like that. And it's probably a first-round exit for them. Because eventually, at the pace they're at, I expect Philadelphia to get better because they're too stinking talented not to. They have too much experience already at this point that they will end up probably passing the Heat. And then Miami starts to drop, and then maybe it's 5 or 6. We'll see. But I just, right now, I have to look at what you've done for 23 games. Not 1 or 2, not 5, not 10. This isn't a bad little stretch. They have lost, I don't know if you know this, but the Miami Heat have lost 5 of 6 and 6 of 9. So not only are you 11-12 in your last 23, you're 3-6 in your last 9. You're 1-5 in your last 6. Do you understand that, right? You go 24-8, 11-12, 3-6, 1-5. Is that called progressively worse? I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm looking at it. The one win, Golden State, who has 12.
Right. And you lost to a team that has what, 17 now?